Welcome to the latest episode of the CHL Top 10 Show. I'm Scott Van Koenen, and this week I chat with Montreal Canadiens prospect Owen Beck from the surprising Peterborough Petes and newly signed LA Kings prospect Kohen Ziemmer from the high-octane Prince George Cougars. After winning the OHL championship last season and making a run at the Memorial Cup, no one would blame Owen Beck and the Peterborough Petes for taking a step back this season. But here we are, 20 games into their season, and they're first in the OHL's Eastern Conference. Owen Beck tells us about their impressive start, why they're so comfortable playing in extra time, what it's like playing in the Petes-Gens rivalry, and what it's like playing with and against minor hockey teammates. Finally, he tells us what he started doing this season to help stay loose. Here's Owen Beck. Happy to welcome my first guest today. He's from the 8th-ranked team in the CHL Top 10, riding a 4-game winning streak. It's Montreal Canadiens prospect Owen Beck from the Peterborough Petes. Owen, how are you doing today?
Good, thanks.
Owen, things are going really well for the Petes this season, and I don't think anybody really expected, but if you look at the standings right now, you guys are tied with Baie-Comeau from the Q with the fewest amount of losses in the entire CHL at 3 regulation losses. How are you guys been able to do that?
Yeah, we've kind of been just working as hard as we can to get as many points out of every game that we can. I think that's contributed a lot to our success. We play a pretty strict defensive zone structure that doesn't give up a ton of goals, and that just helps us get into overtime. If we're ever down one late, we can try and claw our way back and get a couple get games to overtime, and we've been pretty good winning overtime games, but also when there's a couple that we lose, at least we get a point out of it. So that's contributed a lot to our success, like I said, and we'll look to keep doing that.
Well, you look at the roster turnover from last year, and gone are Robertson, Hayes, Stillman, Othman, Avon, White, Lockhart, and your starting goalie Simpson. So that's 7 of your top 10 scorers from last year. Yet, like I said, you guys are right at the top. Has the dynamic changed this year in the dressing room?
Yeah, I think obviously we don't have I guess as much firepower as we did last year. But everybody's really bought in. Everybody in the room is working together collectively as a team, and just really sticking to the system, working hard, and competing like underdogs every night. So that's kind of been our identity, and it's been working for us. So yeah, we have a great thing going here, and we're gonna look to keep it up.
Well, you guys kind of rode that underdog mentality last year as well throughout the playoffs and your OHL championship. Have the next wave of Pete's, have you guys really embraced that as again this year?
Yeah, we had a lot of guys that were kind of in and out of the lineup, and like throughout the playoffs there, we had a couple injuries, suspensions, all that, and guys got into big games and in big moments. So, everybody got a bit of a taste of that kind of underdog mentality and how we need to play. And I think that's really, some of those guys have really stepped up into bigger roles this year, and that identity is really, recognized up and down the lineup now, and all the new guys, all the first year guys really have really adopted that as well. And yeah, it keeps working for us.
Are you guys kind of forcing Mike Oak's hand right now with the start that you guys have had? Because you usually don't see a team that goes on a Memorial Cup run the way you did be this competitive the following season.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna do our best too. We'll obviously it's not up to us what happens at the deadline, but we're going to try and put ourselves in the best position to have another successful year here, and have another great year in Peterborough. The fans obviously love it, and that's what we're trying to do. So yeah, we're gonna keep working to give ourselves the best chance to be a contender this year.
And you touched on it just a minute ago a little bit, but I'll get you to expand a little bit more. How much confidence did that OHL championship and Memorial Cup run do for the players that returned and the guys, that might have just been there to kind of watch and be a part of it in that sense?
Yeah, that kind of experience from that run is it's so valuable to a team. I think when we get into big games, and I talked about it earlier, when we're down one, maybe two, or even five, like we were this past weekend, we don't give up. We stick to our structure, and and just work our way back into games. And that's been so important for us, as I mentioned. And just having that experience from a deep playoff run last year, we had a lot of guys, a lot of young guys who now have bigger roles on the team, who watched us last year and even got into some games like I mentioned. Just having that experience, having watched that a little bit, it really sets in that identity that we don't give up in games, and it's really been working for us like that.
Has there been any one or two players on the team that have really surprised you with how much they've been able to step up this year?
Um, Honestly, I think everybody's taken a big jump. I think a guy, especially like McCallum, he's been really good for us to start the season. He does so many little things, other than just, get points, that have been, so important for us. I think McCoy's even taken a big jump. He's our captain. He's a fourth year guy, but he's already surpassed his point totals from last year, and he's still playing the type of game that he's known for, just being that shutdown defenseman. So, that's just a couple guys. There are other guys that have taken big steps as well. I think a lot of the guys on our team have made big jumps and made big strides, and I think that's really contributed to our success so far.
And for you personally, probably not the start to the season that you would have liked with just one goal in your first 6 games. Things have picked up lately. You got 10 points in your last 4. What's kind of changed for you?
Yeah, I just kind of tried to get back to basics really. I just try to stick with my game, not and not worry too much about getting points, not trying to force anything, and that kind of opened things up for me a lot. Took a weight off my shoulders, and just eventually things started rolling for me, and I'm just looking to keep that going.
Are there any things that you kind of work on in practice, or maybe with off ice mental game to try to get you back into the right rhythm?
Yeah, I've got a couple things that I just look back on from time to time just to keep myself in check, keep stay grounded and everything, and not get too high or too low. That like you mentioned, that start to the season wasn't easy, so I had to work pretty hard away from the rink to kind of get myself in a place that I was able to reset and just take things day by day and game by game, and like I said, things turned around rather quickly for me, and obviously I'm thankful for that. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep working, keep doing those things away from the rink, and just try and keep rolling here.
And you mentioned that game on Sunday, and I'll get to that in a second because we have to talk about that game. But that was obviously against Oshawa. You've got 11 goals on the year, and I was looking at your stats earlier, and 8 of those have come against Oshawa. So what is it about playing against the Jennies that just gets you going?
Well, I grew up in Port Hope, Ontario, and Oshawa and Peterborough are basically the exact same distance, but from my house. So those are my 2 hometown teams. Obviously, it's a massive rivalry in the OHL, and I just love playing in those games. So yeah, I think I've got a little bit of an extra pop in my step whenever I get into a Gens Petes game, and yeah, things have gone really well for me so far.
I talked to Carson Rakoff last week about the rivalry between London and Kitchener, and again, yeah, like you said, you're kind of right in the middle of it. So you obviously were able to watch it from both sides growing up. But what is it like to play in that rivalry?
Yeah, obviously when I was really young, I looked up to guys in the OHL, especially on the Petes and the Gens, just because those are the 2 teams I spent the most time watching, and yeah, just to be a part of that rivalry now is so surreal, and yeah, it's just it means that much more now to me that I always dreamed of it as a kid, but now I get to play in it. So yeah, it's been awesome, and I'm obviously thankful for the opportunity, and I just love getting into big exciting games like that.
Okay, so we'll go to Sunday's game. You guys get down 5-0 after the first period. Can't imagine Rob Wilson was very happy at that point. What did he tell you guys at between the first and second?
Yeah, I mean, we I think we all thought we were in for one when he came into the room, but obviously, like he said, obviously, boys, that was a horrible start. Easily the worst one of the year for us, but the pressure's off us now. We're not expected to win. nobody has us winning this game. So, kind of let's just go out, do what we, play how we normally do, play our structure, our system, and just see what happens. And, at the time, we were still out shooting the Oshawa there when we were down 5-0 at the end of the first. So, I think we all knew there was hope. If we can outshoot a team and play as poorly as we did, then, we can work our way back. So everybody, bought in like we have all year. Everybody was ready to go. Nobody was pouting or anything like that. So, we're all ready to go, excited for the second period. And, the first one came about 7 minutes in, and then, that's when everything just clicked. Everything's like, we had another spark, more of a jump, and we just got going there.
Yeah, so second, third, and overtime, you guys outshot them 30-10. So obviously dominating in the shots. At what point, because it was still, you're still down 5-3 after the second period, and you got the first two goals to get things going. But at what point did you guys start to believe that, hey, we can come back and we can still win this game?
Yeah, I mean, coming into the second period, we said ideally we get 3 goals, make it 5-3, and then we do the rest of our damage in the third. And I think as soon as that first one went in, like I said, even in the dressing room, down 5-0, we all still believed. And I think it was honestly just that first goal that really sparked everyone. And we knew that we could get 2 more in the second period. And as soon as we did, we were pretty confident rolling into the room, going into the third there. Having completed a goal that we set out going into the second to be down 5-3 by the end of it. So yeah, so when that happened, we were all extremely confident, knew we could get 2 more goals in the third and push it to overtime and win it there.
What's it like having that kind of confidence to be able to push games into overtime and know that you can close them out? Because I'm sure you've played on teams before where you didn't want to go to overtime because you knew you probably wouldn't close it out.
Yeah, 3-on-3, it can really be like the flip of a coin, one bad bounce and a team's going down the other way to score. So, we've had a lot of practice, having gone into, almost 10 overtime games or something this year. So, yeah, we've got a lot of 3-on-3 practice under our belt. So, I think we've won the majority of them. So, yeah, we're pretty confident, getting a point and getting into overtime, looking for the extra there. So, yeah, it's just kind of been a trend on our team this year, and it's nice to be confident going into a 3-on-3.
Well, with just under a minute and a half to go in that overtime, you're coming down the ice, you get a pass from your captain, you give it back to McCoy. What are you thinking when he doesn't shoot and instead elects to do the wraparound?
Gets one from Brian Boys. McCoy back the other way. 2-on-1 with Beck. Beck, McCoy. Too far, wraparound try. They score.
Yeah, honestly, I was just upset at myself at first that I gave him such a late pass and didn't give him really a chance to shoot. But he just made such a great play wrapping that around, and even when he didn't tuck it in right away, he stuck with it, got a good stick lift on Lockhart there, and was able to put that one home, and for his second overtime winner of the weekend. So he stayed hot there and stayed clutch for us. So yeah, it was awesome. And yeah, it was like I said, I was just kind of mad at myself that I didn't give him an opportunity or an angle to shoot there. But yeah, he made a great play and helped me out there.
Is it a little bit weird playing against Lockhart now after, going through what you guys went through last year together?
Yeah, I mean, it's strange, we made memories together that will last a lifetime. And yeah, it's weird, especially seeing him on the Generals, going to such a rival team. And he was even traded right before we got on the bus to go play Oshawa. So he didn't play in that first game with them, but yeah, it's an especially strange situation, and feeling playing against a guy that you went through so much with and won a championship with the year before.
And then for you, when you came to Peterborough last year, how cool is it to be reunited with your former Quinny Red Devils teammate in McCoy, and just getting a chance to play together again?
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. I remember when we were in our OHL draft, he went 15th to Peterborough, and I was there not long after, thinking I could have potentially gone to Peterborough. Obviously, I didn't, but yeah, so I was hoping I did get the chance to play with him a little earlier on, but when I got traded to Peterborough, I was nice and close to home. I knew Donovan was here. He played a big role in trying to get me over to to the Petes. So yeah, it was awesome to reunite with him, and we had a lot of success in minor hockey, and it's so cool to have had success at the OHL level, win another championship here. So yeah, it's been such a cool experience, and something I'll never forget.
And obviously, minor hockey teammates they end up being some of your best friends for life. So when you look around the O now and you see what Wakely's doing in North Bay, or when you're matching up against Matthews and Barrie, or Stewart and Votary and Owen Sound, like, do you guys ever, some friendly banter back and forth before the game or at face-offs or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, for me, certainly at face-offs, when I'm taking them against Wakely and stuff, and when we're playing Owen Sound, I always like to give Votary a couple yips there to get in his head maybe a little bit. I've always wanted to score on him, so yeah, it's always cool when you're playing somebody somebody you played with in minor hockey, and it just kind of levels up the competitiveness a little bit in every game, just to have your team come out on top there. So those games are always fun as well.
You mentioned face-offs. I don't know how much you pay attention to your face-off stats, or your team's face-off stats, but you and Jacques Dubois are second and third in the O, respectively, with 60.8, 60.4%, and which is fourth and fifth in the entire CHL. So you guys are dominating in the face-off circle. How often do you guys work on that together, or just in practice?
Yeah, taking a face-off is like any other skill. It needs constant work and practice, and yeah, we do that a lot. We have a coach that will come out and drop pucks for us to take face-offs and practice against each other. And obviously, when two guys are doing that well, obviously the battle's pretty intense, and even in practice for every puck. So it just gets both of us better, and obviously we both take a lot of pride in it. So it's important to practice, and we're gonna keep looking to give our team possession off the draws.
You're both older guys in the league now. How much does that play a factor in it? Just being, the experience, a little bit older, a little bit stronger. Have you figured out new ways to kind of cheat in the draws?
Yeah, I mean, just with the success we had last year in that long run, it's every face-off's key. So that kind of experience, and knowing how to read the drop and everything, and maybe get a bit of an edge on your opponent is really important. So yeah, haven't done it for a couple of years in this league now. It definitely helps, and yeah, we just try and be the best we can be every night.
And when you're at Montreal Canadiens camp, are you going up to, like, Nick Suzuki and working on draws there with him, or picking brains on the guys there on just trying to get any kind of advantage you can?
Yeah, for sure. A lot of guys when they enter the NHL, sometimes they don't even start out as a center, or when they do, their face-off percentage often isn't that great. So, it's a really tough league to take draws in, and so if you can get any pointers from guys who know how to do it at that level, it's certainly such an advantage to bring back to the OHL, and that's something that I've done when I was at camp, and just really try and take them against the best guys that you can, and just be a sponge really, and just learn as much as you can from them.
You're a pretty serious guy. What do you do to stay loose so you don't get wound too tight during the season?
Yeah, I mean, just a couple odd things, but at home here in Peterborough, or I guess at my billet house here in Peterborough, we live on a horse farm, so I've actually taken up horseback riding recently, just to start the season. It's pretty therapeutic, believe it or not, and it's a nice new challenge to have, just trying to learn how to control an animal like that. So yeah, that's a new thing that I've kind of picked up, and I've enjoyed a lot this season.
So had you ever ridden a horse before this year?
Many years before, when I was younger, I think I was on one time, but it wasn't like I was controlling it on my own. They had a lead on it, and somebody was walking around with it. So it was pretty controlled. So this is a little different.
You doing your best Rip from Yellowstone impersonations now?
Yeah, I actually just started watching that show because of the horseback riding. So just getting into it there, but I'm doing my best here.
Final year of OHL hockey. Can you believe that it's your final year already?
No, it goes by crazy quick, and the fact that we're already coming in on the end of November and the start of December is crazy. That it's almost another half season gone, and this the years in the OHL just seem to fly by. And I remember guys told me when I entered the league that it goes quick, and obviously I believed them, but I guess I took it with a grain of salt, and I shouldn't have, because this time really flies by quick. So I can't believe that I'm in my final year.
So now that you're the wily vet on the team, what are you saying to those guys? Are you saying the same thing?
Yeah, obviously it sounds like a cliche, but definitely just saying, take every moment and enjoy it and learn from it, and because it does go really quickly. So just trying to come out of here with having learned as much as you can, and improving as much as you could as a hockey player. It's so important, and that's what I'm just trying to preach to some of the younger guys on our team here.
How important is it for you to help out some of those younger guys? And I'm sure there was somebody in Mississauga that took you under their wing when you were a rookie. How much, like I said, how important is it to kind of pay it forward now?
Yeah, obviously I wouldn't be where I am now without the help of my teammates and coaches. And if I can try and do the same thing for another young guy who's really looking to kind of follow in the footsteps that I've taken, and have their own success in this game. I want to pass along as much knowledge and information as I can, in any way that I can, just to help them, whether it be at the rink, away from the rink, just ways to take care of your body, or manage a heavy schedule, maybe even manage school and hockey at the same time, because I went through that, and it's it is a tough struggle in this league. So it's not easy, and so anything I can do to help these guys, I'd be more than happy to.
Well, you obviously figured out the schooling part of it, being CHL Scholastic of the player of the year a couple of years ago. How difficult is it to get some of the guys to buy into the proper budgeting of time to keep that hockey school balance going?
It's obviously in the morning you gotta go to school and do your best there, and you can't really shrug that off, just because hockey can come to an end at any moment, whether it be a career-ending injury, or just doors closing for other reasons. So having won that award, I preach that you need to be dialed into your school, and just do the best that you can to set yourself up for the future if need be. Obviously a lot of guys playing at this level want to make a career out of hockey, make a living out of hockey, but you got to know that it can all come to an end really, really quickly. And so you got to be prepared if that's the case.
I want to ask you about last January, and we'll get to the juniors part of it in a minute, but the end of January, and when you got the call to play your first NHL game, what was that like for you?
Yeah, no, that was crazy. I mean, I had just gotten to Peterborough, was just getting settled in with a new team, but things weren't going as well as maybe we expected they would, right after the deadline, with all the additions we made. So it wasn't the greatest vibe around the rink and everything, and being a new ad, I felt a lot of pressure on me. But I got to the rink one morning, got called into Mike Oak's office, and I didn't know what he was going to say, just because of the vibe that was kind of going around. But I went in there expecting the worst, and came out with some of the best news I had ever heard. That I was going to go up to Ottawa the following day to make my NHL debut. So that was awesome. Obviously, it being in Canada, not too far from home, I was able to get a lot of family and friends up to watch it, and such a special experience. It coming, kind of at such a random time, and not expecting it, just because of all the injuries that were going on in Montreal there. So that was such a crazy surprise, and obviously something I'll never forget.
Hockey night in Canada game 2, it doesn't really get much better than that.
Yeah, I mean, two Canadian teams, like you said, Hockey Night in Canada, a lot of hype around it. In Ottawa, there's oftentimes a lot of Montreal fans there, so it was a pretty cool experience having, a bit of a rivalry both on the ice and in the stands. Fans kind of going cheering for both sides, it seemed. So yeah, it was such a cool night.
And then obviously you do the traditional rookie lap. You went no bucket, which I love. What were the guys saying to you on the way out of the tunnel?
Yeah, just have fun to it. Welcome to the NHL, and I think Jack I might have yelled, "Your hair looks great" or something like that. So I got a little chuckle and took a little bit of the edge off as I was stepping out there for my rookie lap.
And then obviously, the game didn't end up the way that you would have liked, but you got 10 minutes of ice time, and you got your first game out of the way, which is great. This year, little more confidence heading into Montreal Canadiens camp. How was it different from last year when you went there?
Yeah, I was just a lot more familiar with kind of the setup and the routine. I also knew some of the guys a little bit better, knew the staff a lot better. So yeah, it wasn't as much of a kind of a mental scramble, I guess, trying to figure out what I'm doing day to day, where I need to be, and all this stuff, and trying to remember everybody's names that I just learned. So yeah, it was a little bit easier on the mind, and just felt a little bit more settled in and comfortable going into camp this year.
When you got back to Peterborough, did the pace seem slower because of the pace at the NHL level?
Yeah, I mean, the jump to the NHL is a big step. They always play a really fast game, and so yeah, it took a little bit of time to come back and adjust to the junior speed, but it doesn't take too long. Obviously, junior hockey's really high paced, really intense, and guys are trying to work their way to the NHL. So it takes maybe a game or two, but eventually I got settled in and got back to my timing and everything here at in Peterborough.
And what was the message from Marty St. Louis and the rest of the staff there on what they want you to work on this year to be able to make the team next year?
Yeah, they just kind of said, just go be yourself. Don't try and be anybody else. Points will come. Just play your 200-foot game and really try and develop. You're still young. Take this year and really try and squeeze the most out of it and get as much as you can from it. So yeah, they wanted me to come back and have another successful year here and really just develop and prepare as much as I can for the next level.
How important is it for you to be such a versatile forward? Like you can play in the top six, you can go down and play in the bottom six if you want. Obviously, that's going to help your chances of making it to the next level a little bit quicker than say if you were strictly a top six guy.
Yeah, it's really hard to make that jump, to the NHL level right into the top six. It takes an immense amount of skill, and it's pretty rare for players to have. So just kind of trying to be a Swiss Army knife and trying to be useful to a coach almost wherever they put you is super valuable and can really open a lot of doors for you down the road.
I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that your family wasn't or weren't Montreal fans growing up or as you were growing up. Have they changed allegiances or are they holding on until you're there full time?
Yeah, my family just being an hour away from Toronto we're pretty big Leafs fans. But yeah, it didn't take long, with the draft being in Montreal and everything, and obviously me being picked by Montreal for my dad and my brother who were diehard Leafs fans at the time to switch their allegiance. So yeah, I remember getting a picture of them, and they got like a Habs lapel pin on their suits by the end of the day, and that was a pretty special moment for me to see that they just be able to kind of switch over to a rival team, just all because I got drafted to Montreal there. So yeah, that was a special day, and it's a great feeling that my family's all on board as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. World Juniors last year, you went from probably one of the ultimate lows and being cut from the team to being the injury replacement for Doc and then winning a gold medal. What was that whirlwind experience like? We're almost a year out from that now. So looking back on it now, how did that experience help you and just what was it like overall?
Yeah, it's obviously it was a pretty pretty low time, I guess, after being cut. But you know, I talked about it earlier. Just a pretty big key in life and in hockey is not getting too low and not getting too high. And so yeah, I just kind of tried to maintain status quo as I was you know, at home, and just still playing for Mississauga there, and just trying to you know, just keep going as if nothing changed, nothing happened, kind of thing. So but when I got the call, obviously that was such a surprise, you know, and obviously a huge honor to go represent my country. And like I said, I just wanted to stay ready and be able to kind of jump into you know, into such an intense tournament like that, right in the middle of it, right in the medal round. So yeah, it was tough, but you know, like I said, just trying not to get too high and too low, and always just being prepared is so important, and that helped me out so much to try and help Canada win gold.
This year, the tournament's in Sweden. Strong possibility that you'll be the only returning player. I'm going out on the assumption that you will be on the team this year. For you, how nice would it be if you're on the team? We'll play nice with you here, to take on a bit more of a leadership role this year.
Yeah, you know, it's obviously it's a super tough tournament for anybody to jump into. You know, obviously, even when I came in late there, it's you know, there's a lot of guys that help me out, try and get settled really quickly, because it's a lot of pressure, especially being on home soil and everything, and trying to win gold with such a talented team. So yeah, you know, with not many possible returning players this year, it's you know, it's going to be you know, big to make sure everybody's you know, settled and got the nerves out of the way, and everything is ready to go by the time the tournament starts. So yeah, you know, if I'm there, then you know, that's kind of something I can try and help the guys with, you know, if they have any questions or anything, and just make sure everybody's ready to go come Boxing Day.
I was talking to Ryan Kennedy from the Hockey News about this a couple of weeks ago, and I asked him if he thought that going to Sweden would help the team this year get away from the noise in Canada, because there aren't as many returning players. Do you think it, you know, the travel and being forced to, you know, bond a little bit more, do you think that will be a benefit to you guys? Because Canada typically has struggled a little bit going overseas.
Yeah, you know, I think I think it kind of, you know, takes a bit of a weight off everybody's shoulders. You know, obviously there will be Canadian fans over in Sweden, and obviously it's going to be very televised and over in Canada here. But yeah, you know, just kind of getting everybody together and, you know, away from some of the noise, and really bonding as a group will should help us, you know, become really close and be able to lean on each other, you know, in critical moments in the tournament. So yeah, you know, I think you know, I'm looking forward to it. You know, usually Canada's, you know, obviously a great team in those tournaments. So just looking forward to see how it goes there.
Keeping tabs on your former World Junior teammate Connor Bedard and what he's up to in Chicago?
Yeah, you know, you see a lot of it in the media there, so it's hard not to. You know, he's having a great year, and obviously there's no surprise that he's doing what he's doing, because just, you know, seeing him at the World Juniors, it's like I said, it's no surprise that he's able to keep it going and do it at the NHL level.
And how often are you checking to see what your old team Mississauga's up to, and see what your old what James Richmond's been putting together over there?
Yeah, I check it pretty often. You know, I'm still pretty close with JR. You know, we had a great relationship when I was in Mississauga, and obviously they've got a pretty exciting future to look ahead to. So yeah, I'm always checking how they're doing. They had a great start to the season, and you know, they're right there in second place in the conference behind us, I believe. So going into this weekend and getting to play them should be a big matchup for us.
Yeah, so you got Windsor on Thursday, Mississauga on Friday, the rare Saturday, Sunday off before a Monday game. What do you guys have to do in the two games before the weekend to you know, to keep this 4-game winning streak going?
Yeah, you know, we really need to stick to our strengths and our structure. You know, that's what's been working for us. You know, we can't go in now that we're, you know, a ranked team in the CHL top 10, and you know, and doing well in the power rankings and in the standings here in the OHL. You know, we can't let that get to our heads. You know, nothing changes. You know, we still got to go in with that underdog mentality and fight that we always have. That's, you know, just the way we play. And if we get away from that, it won't be too easy to claw back into the weekend with more wins. So we need to maintain what we've been doing, and I'm sure things will work out for us.
Awesome. Owen, thank you very much. Good luck this weekend. Good luck at the World Juniors and the rest of the season.
Great. Thank you very much.
Last season, Kohen Ziemmer and the Prince George Cougars made it to the second round of the WHL playoffs for the first time since 2007. So expectations this season are even higher for Mark Lamb's club. After yet another impressive week, the Cougars are the second-ranked team in the CHL Top 10 for a third straight week. The Kings prospect talks to us about this being the best team that he's played on in the WHL, the scoring depth the Cougars have this season, what it's like playing alongside running mate Riley Heidt, and signing his ELC last week. He also tells us what he likes to do in PG on his day offs during the season. Here's Kohen Ziemmer. All right, my next guest today is the WHL Player of the Week after scoring 4 goals and 9 points in just 4 games. He's from the second-ranked team in the CHL Top 10. It's LA Kings prospect Kohen Ziemmer from the Prince George Cougars. Kohen, how are you doing today?
Good.
Third week in a row at number 2 in the CHL Top 10. You guys have been in the top 5 for 5 weeks now. The team seems to be able to score at will. Most wins in the WHL. How are you guys feeling in PG?
Yeah, you look at our roster and our record this year, and obviously we're having a pretty good start to the year. But I think there's a lot of little things that we can improve on as well, and make ourselves a better team going forward here.
Well, and you look at the schedule, and you guys will have a game where you fill the net, but then it seems like there's a bit of a letdown in the next game, where defensively you guys end up giving up a lot more. What do you guys have to do to kind of combat that so they don't happen as frequently?
Yeah, I think one of the things we've talked about as a team is being consistent through all our games and throughout the whole game. So I think the second game back-to-back, we're usually a little sluggish off the start, but we got a good enough team that we can prepare ourselves for being down going into the third period and be able to come back and make a comeback.
Well, like I said, you're player of the week in the WHL this week. Zach Funk was player of the week at the start of the season. How much is it a luxury for you guys to have the scoring depth that you have? You look at the WHL scoring right now. Funk's got 38 points and he's sitting second. Riley Height's right behind him with 36 points in third. Becker's fifth with 35. Parasek at 34. You've got 28 points. You've played fewer games, so we'll let you catch up in a little bit. But how much of a luxury is that for you guys?
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, throughout my career, we've never really had scoring depth like we do this year. So we've got a special team this year. We got a lot of guys who can put up some numbers this year. But I think for the team game, we got a lot of role pieces as well. Like our fourth line, a bunch of young guys. They don't get many points, but they play a role in the fourth line that they bring it every night.
And for somebody that's been around as long as you have now, do you tell them, hey, don't worry about it, like your time's going to come, the points are going to come?
Yeah, I think they know it too. They know their role, they know they're skilled players, but they accepted their roles and they're doing a very good job of it. So they'll have a long career here.
And how much of a revelation has Tarek Parasek been for not only the team, but maybe just from your eyes? Like, I know you played 4 games with him last year. Would you have ever expected that after 22 games this year, he'd have 21 goals?
Yeah, it's crazy what he's doing this year. I think looking at last year, playing with him a little bit, he was already adapted to the league. He knew what to play like, and it's pretty special what he's doing this year. And he just has a nose for the net, and he's able to put the pucks in the net whenever he wants.
Well, he's draft eligible this year, so maybe tell the people who don't see a lot of the WHL what kind of a player Tarek is.
Yeah, he's a complete goal scorer, but I think his playmaking and his offensive mindset's pretty good as well, but he sees the ice very well, and he can make some plays.
And then it's not just the forwards that are putting up points. On the back end, you've got Hudson Thornton who's matching his pace from last year, and you've got K-Mets that's he's already passed or matched his goal totals from last year. So how scoring coming from all over the place.
Yeah, our depth through both our back end and in the front there is very good, and we're a team that can score a lot of goals, and I think one of our downsides is we can defend a little bit better. We've got good goalies in the back end that obviously help us out back there, but we can help them out a little bit more. But yeah, our whole team can score goals. It's pretty special this year.
Well, we'll touch on the goalies in a minute, but first, obviously, your line mate, whom you've been playing with for a long time now, Riley Heidt. The chemistry is undeniable. It feels like there's a highlight reel play almost every single game between you guys. First, how much fun is it to keep playing with Riley and seeing you guys evolve together?
Yeah, I've been playing with him for 3.5, 4 years now, and he's a pretty special player to play with. He's very easy to play with, and just the chemistry we've built over the last couple of years, and we know where each other is going to be on the ice all the time. So it's just a matter of getting the puck to him.
All right, I'm going to do a quick quiz on you. You've got 9 goals this year. How many has Riley assisted on?
Oh, I'm going to go with 7.
Oh, that's close. It was 6. And so Height's got 11 goals. You weren't there for the first 4. So of the 7 goals that you've been there, how many have you assisted on?
Let's go 5.
Hey, yeah, you nailed that one. How much do you guys push each other? Not just you and Riley, but everybody on that team now, like just to challenge each other either in practice or in games to keep improving and keep becoming better players.
Yeah, I think we all have the same want to have the same outcome. We all want to be pro hockey players. So we push each other to be as best as we can be every day between practice and games, and the little things outside of the rink. Even we're all very competitive. So yeah, we've got a good group of guys on and off the ice.
And how much easier is it just to get along with everybody when you're winning and putting up points like this?
Yeah, for sure. It's really different. I mean, this is the best team in the WHL that I've been on. It's just a different vibe in the room all the time, you know. Even with like the staff and everything, like just the vibe that goes out there when we're winning is pretty nice.
You mentioned the goalies, and I said we get to them. So Ty Young, Canucks prospect, and then you've got the young Josh Ravensbergen. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he doesn't turn 17 until next week, and he's putting some sparkling numbers in his first 10 games in the WHL. You know, so you've got some experience in Young, you got the youth in Ravensbergen. How nice is it just to have those two guys? You know, if you're going to give up chances, for the majority of the time they're gonna pick it up for you.
Yeah, like you said, they're pretty special goalies, and obviously Ravensberg coming into the league, he was can't get much better than a start in the WHL career than he's had this year. Obviously 4 shutouts and 7 or 8 starts is pretty crazy, but he has a guy like Young to his starter there that teaches him a lot, and he's been through the league for a couple of years here. So those guys in practice, they're always giving it their all, and they're pretty hard to score on in practice even. And
then in practice, how much does that make you guys better scorers when you got the goalies that are stopping you and trying to stop you, and you know everybody's just improving because you're all trying to beat each other?
Yeah, like you said, we're all trying to beat each other, and we're all pretty competitive. There's a lot of scoring competitions going on between goalies and players in practice, so we like to have some fun with it as well.
Special teams, obviously, with a special group of forwards that you guys have, you'd expect you'd be at the top. I'm going to go on a limb and assume that you don't know, but you guys are tops in the entire CHL right now with 31.2%. Do you guys roll with the same plan? Do you adjust for certain teams? You know, how do you guys set up the special teams to keep it fresh so that you can keep producing on the power play?
Yeah, believe it or not, we've been in a little bit of a slump lately. We've been changing up the power play quite a bit. We've had a lot of changes throughout the last 3 weeks or so, but I think it's pretty easy to put a power play together when you got the guys that we do. I think everyone on our team can play on the power play, but it's just not possible for having everyone to play it. So you go changing it up. You always never know what's going to happen, so you always got to be ready for what's going to happen.
When you guys are in the game and power play is struggling a little bit, does you know, Coach Mark look at the up and down the lineup and be like, well, I think this guy's going tonight, so he's going to get a shot on the power play, even if he hasn't been practicing on it as much?
Yeah, like we do a little bit of power play practice. Everyone gets their touches in, and it's pretty much whoever's playing the good that night, they're going to get their chance. So it matters how you're playing every night.
I talked to Owen Beck earlier, and he was saying how comfortable Peterborough is this year, getting games to extra time and playing in overtime or in a shootout. So they've done that 9 times already this year. So I wanted to check to see where you guys were at, because you haven't lost in extra time. Well, you've only been to extra time twice. So you won in an overtime once and won in a shootout. How important is it for you guys to close out games in regulation and not give the other team a chance at the extra point?
Yeah, our goal is to win before extra time. I think we've done a pretty good job of staying in the close games and keeping our leads when we're having that opportunity. But I think we're a comfortable team and skilled enough to be in the shootouts in the overtime. So it's just we're all trying to win the game. So it's just trying to get it done as fast as possible.
How often do you guys do shootout practices or 3-on-3 overtime practices? Because I was talking to, I bring this up because I was talking to Martin Dagenet, who's head coach of Rouyn-Noranda, and they struggled off the start of the year. Their first 4 games all went into extra time, but they hadn't practiced it at all at that point. They've been better lately, so I'm just kind of curious what you guys are like.
Yeah, we do a shootout probably once every 2 weeks. We do a full team shootout. Everyone shoots twice, and 3-on-3 we've worked a little bit on, just some scrimmage practice between 4-on-4, 3-on-3, 5-on-5 practices like that. In the last couple of weeks, we've done a couple of them. So yeah, we're pretty comfortable with what we have.
If you're writing the lineup for the shootout, who are your shooters on your team?
I got to go with myself shooting first, and then probably Becker and Heidt.
Yeah, I just from things that you've seen throughout in the WHL in practice, do you have a go-to move that you like?
Yeah, I do have a go-to move. I don't think I can tell you what it is though.
No, that's fair. And if do you have do you prefer to go first, or would you does it really matter in the shootout for you where you would slot in?
Yeah, no, I could it doesn't bother me where I go. I could go for first or 10th. I could care less where I go.
I want to talk a little bit about your coach, GM Mark Lamb. Every time I look at every week when I'm looking at the scores and stuff of your games, it just makes me think that he's got you playing like the Oilers teams that he played on in the late 80s and early 90s. What type of coach is Mark? How is he to play for?
Yeah, he's good to play for. He runs the lineup pretty well. He gives everyone opportunity, and you got to be ready for the opportunity as well. So he gives everyone a chance to play and show what they've done for. And when the times are tight, he shortens the bench up, and he's a good coach all around. And then obviously the GM side of it, he's done a pretty good job of putting our team together this year.
Yeah, I'd say so. He earned everything he got in the NHL. He won a Stanley Cup with the Oilers. Does he ever talk about those Oilers teams or any of those guys that he played with during his career?
Yeah, he talks a little bit about it. One of the cool things that I talked to him about was he's a collector of sticks. So he has a bunch of Gretzky and Messier sticks and some other cool sticks. So that's pretty cool. He showed us his collection one time, and it's pretty cool what he's got.
Is that something that you think that you might get into, or have you started doing any stick collecting?
I probably should get into that. It's pretty cool to for him, especially having guys like Gretzky and Messier. Like I said, that's pretty cool, and they're obviously worth a lot of money as well. So pretty cool to have.
Do you guys ever pull up any clips of him on YouTube or anything like that and just see what he was?
No,
what he
I haven't seen any clips of Lammer ripping around out there.
Heading into, you guys had a successful year last year. What were your goals heading into the off season? Kind of what areas were you looking to make gains in over the off season?
For myself?
Yeah, just yourself.
Yeah, so I knew my skating was one of my biggest letdowns last year. So I spent a lot of time working on that in the summer, and spent a lot of time with power skaters and some off ice stuff for my conditioning and my stride. So I've been working on that a lot.
And how do you feel that's come since 18 games into the year for you?
Yeah, I feel like it's made a big improvement from last year. I think I'm skating a lot better and just feel quicker on the ice.
Is it just a matter of once once you get out with the coach is just get more and more reps throughout the summer and get the feel for whatever the tweak is?
Yeah, for sure. I think one of my biggest things was my stride and just getting a longer stride. So we kind of perfected that throughout the summer.
The CHL season's a grind, right? Like everybody knows that. What have you learned over your almost 200 career games that has helped you maintain such a high level play all season long? Like you very rarely miss a game. You played the last 2 full seasons. So how have you been able to stay healthy and just like the mental preparation that you do?
Yeah, I think a lot of it goes to our trainers in the last couple of years. We've had 2 different trainers, but we do a lot of yoga after practice and stuff like that, and just to keep our legs into it and prevent our injuries. So we do a lot of that after practice and stuff. So it just keeps you loose and always ready to go.
Do you ever pull any of the younger guys aside and say, hey, listen, I've been doing this for a while now. Like, make sure that you're doing this stuff so you guys stay healthy and are ready to go all the time?
Yeah, we've got a good group of guys mixed with older guys and younger guys here. The older guys kind of lead the younger guys, and the younger guys kind of follow. So they're a good group of young guys to have because they're always following the older guys.
And when you first came into the league, who were a couple of the guys that helped you come along and kind of show you the ropes?
Yeah, when I was my 17 year, the first real year we played, like Johnny Hooker, Connor Bowie, those were the guys that were older in the league, and they've been through it all. So you just kind of look up to them and follow what they do.
Well, last week, obviously a huge week for you personally. You sign your NHL contract, your entry level deal with the LA Kings. What was that moment like for you?
Yeah, it was pretty surreal. It was pretty cool because my dad was actually up for the weekend. We played a couple games at home, so he was up for the weekend, and to go through that with him, I got a call from my agent letting me know that they wanted to have a deal done, and I was pretty pumped to be able to sign that the next day.
Did you know that it was like before that call? Did you know that it was coming, or was it kind of out of the blue?
Yeah, it was kind of out of the blue. I seen a call. I missed a call from my agent and called him back a couple of minutes later, and he told me the news, and I was pretty excited.
And then obviously even more exciting, like you said, to have your dad there, have a little celebration afterwards.
Not too much of a celebration. We went out for lunch after. We had a game later that day, so it was kind of keep focused for the game, but kind of hard when you got news like that coming.
And what's the plan for the first thing, or maybe you've already done it, but first thing to buy with the signing bonus?
Yeah, I haven't really thought of what I'm going to buy. Probably something for fishing or hunting would be my first thing to buy.
Well, since you brought that up, you guys are on the Fraser River. Do you ever get out and get to do any fishing?
I do a bunch of fishing around the lakes around here. There's some lakes when it freezes up that are some pretty good hot spots. Yeah,
so you find time to go out and do some ice fishing throughout the season?
Yeah, if we get a day off or something, or we end practice a little bit early and have the rest of the day off, I'll get out and spend some time on the lake.
Any of the other boys go out with you?
There's a junior A team here that I have a good buddy that comes with me.
Nobody else wants to brave the cold? And
no one's brave enough to get on the frozen water.
Back to earlier this summer. You're down in Nashville. What was it like when being at the draft and hearing LA call your name?
Yeah, I was pretty excited. I think to have all my family there, and I had some auntie and uncles there, and we went down a couple of days early to get the whole experience in Nashville. But to finally hear my name called by LA, it was pretty special. I think it was one of the number one spots that I wanted to be. I talked to them lots throughout the year, so it was pretty cool being picked by them. It's a little bit bigger of a city than Marathon.
Yeah, it was hot that week too down in Nashville, wasn't it?
Oh, it was ridiculous. I think it was plus 36 or something every day.
How much digging had you done on LA's roster and their depth, like the prospects, or how much did you do as soon as like that night or the next morning after it happened?
Yeah, I think the next morning I did a little bit of research, just looking at other prospects that they had. I don't think there was a better spot that I could have went for prospect wise there. they've obviously got a good team now this year, and they're doing unreal this year. So it's a good place to be.
And they've certainly got a lot of young guys, and some other high end guys coming up. Were there other guys that you were familiar with when you got to camp?
Yeah, Sean Chagall with Calgary there. He's from around the same area I did growing up, so I knew him a little bit, but really no one else that I knew.
And was there anybody in particular, either on the roster or prospects, that really impressed you? And on the other side of it, was there anybody that when you walked in, and you were just you caught yourself being a little bit awestruck or fanboy a little bit?
Yeah, obviously all the guys on the roster, you kind of get starstruck seeing them. We're growing up watching them, like Kopitar and Doughty and guys like that. It's pretty cool. But other prospects like that, Alex Laferriere there, he made the roster this year. Me and him still keep in touch and talk still. And it's just cool how he signed his contract last year and he's making the team this year. It's pretty cool.
How much fun is it just now that you've got a team, you're signed, you can keep tabs on the team, you can keep tabs on the Ontario Reign and see other guys that you're going to be playing with in a few years?
Yeah, it's pretty cool, especially being able to just turn on the TV and flip channels and you're watching them play every other night. And it's when they're winning, it's pretty cool to watch. And just saying, those guys and then you've been around in the room with those guys is pretty cool.
When you came into the WHL, you were a high pick. How did you deal with the pressure of being, a high pick coming into the WHL to a small community in Prince George?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of talk about Prince George and how it's not a place you want to be and stuff like that going to my draft year. And I kind of knew that I was coming here. And since I've been here, it's been the best thing that I think has happened to me in my career. And I think it's, other than the travel, it's a pretty good place to be.
Well, it is one of those smaller communities. I think the population is around 85,000?
Yeah.
So, and those communities, at least I've found across the CHL, they really rally around their team. There's not a whole lot else going on. How much more fun is it to play in front of a passionate fan base like that?
Yeah, I think this year it's been different for sure. We've had support every night. I think we're pushing 3,000 every night, which hasn't happened in my career. But going and playing in front of them every night and how loud they get, and it's pretty cool having the support of the city behind your back.
Well, last year, you guys, you obviously you made it to the second round, losing to the eventual champions in Seattle. But that was the first time since 2007 that PG had made it to the second round, and that was they lost to Lucic's Vancouver Giants that year. So it had obviously been a long time. So you could understand why some fans might be skeptical. But now that they're seeing that you guys are the real deal, how do you guys embrace the challenge of higher expectations from the fans this year?
Yeah, I think we want to win for them. We want them to keep coming back every game. So that's what we like to do. We like to win for our fans here, and we like to bring a good game every night.
And for you guys as a team, what kind of takeaways do you have from that playoff run last year? Obviously that Seattle team was a stacked team. They were an older team. You guys were a little bit younger, but now this year you guys looked more like that stacked team who's a little bit older, a little bit more experienced. So how do you use that experience to take it another step or two steps this year?
Yeah, I think just being a year older and having our older guys have the experience, and the young guys coming in and they're following what we're doing, like they said before. And I think just the mix of guys we got on our team this year, just being a year older, I think we got a really good chance of making a long push in playoffs.
Obviously, Mark's not afraid to make some moves if moves are necessary to help the team. Has he talked to you guys about, like, hey, put me in a spot to make a move for you guys? Has he said anything like that to you guys this year?
No, he hasn't said anything like that, but I think we all know that that stuff has to happen. It's a business, and trades are going to be made. So I think we just got to play our best all the time and put him in a position to make moves for us.
For you, it's a couple of weeks, and you got a big day coming up, turning 19 in a couple of weeks, I believe. Obviously you've got games that day, but family coming in at all? You got any plans for the day off or day before or after that day? I guess it'd be more after that day.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening. I would guess my parents are coming up for that weekend. I think we play Tuesday, Wednesday at home there, and I think my birthday is actually Teddy Bear Toss, so hopefully a sold out crowd that night for at home. But yeah, it's exciting. 19 is a year older, finally legal in BC here.
You tell the guys on that day, hey, it's your birthday. They better just be feeding you all night.
Yeah, exactly.
That teddy bear goal's got to be yours.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, you guys play Lethbridge tomorrow. Then you have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off before a back-to-back with Everett on Monday, Tuesday. I'll get to what you guys have to do in those games in a second, but what do you guys do with 3 days off over the weekend?
Yeah, I think we got skates over the weekend, so we'll be on the ice all weekend and just preparing for the games on Tuesday, Wednesday here coming up. But I think usually on the weekends when we skate, it's a little bit shorter day. He tries to get us the rest of the day off to relax.
And do you guys get together as a team and hang out? You got any ODRs going out there yet?
No, we don't even have snow here actually yet. It's kind of crazy. It's end of November. Usually there's a foot of snow here and -20, but it's been in the pluses all year, so it's been nice here.
So what do you have to do against Lethbridge tomorrow, and then what do you have to do against Everett just to keep the hot start to the season going?
Yeah, I think we just got to play our game. We know Lethbridge is a big, heavy, strong team, and they play a good defensive game, so it'll be a good test for us there. Then Everett's obviously a conference rival we have here, so it's always good games against them, and just bring them the same game every night for us.
What's it like having Wenatchee in the conference this year? Not just another team, another high octane team to have to battle against.
Yeah, I think we play them in their barn 3 times this year, which is we usually play teams twice only, but so they're giving us an extra road trip down there, which kind of sucks. But yeah, they're a good team. We played them twice this year already. I think we split the weekend, but they've got some high end talent, obviously, and yeah, they're a very good team this year.
Awesome. Kohen, thank you very much for this. Good luck the rest of the season, and hopefully a deep and long playoff run for you guys.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
That's it for another episode of the CHL Top 10 Show. Thanks for listening, watching, and make sure you like and subscribe as we continue to chat with some of the biggest and brightest names across the Canadian Hockey League.